All right, so we are live. So welcome back to everybody here watching the replay. So we are going to be talking about how you can really maximize things to that next level. So I'm super excited because this event, this live stream is not only sponsored by AVAST Accounting, but actually Melanie is a very successful business owner. So Melanie Shabangu from AVAST Accounting. First off, thank you for being here and thank you for being a sponsor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you've grown a pretty big business and something that's, most people would never think to like have this big business about related to tax and VATs and stuff like that. But you've been very successful at it. So clearly you've developed some frameworks for thinking about things. And so we'll get into that here in a moment. But what I think is more important really for folks is tell me a little bit about who's AVAST Accounting? What is it y'all do? And what's your role there?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, AVAST Accounting is an accounting and tax firm. We started the journey back in 2012. When along the way, which is absolutely great, 2013, I'm stumbling here, we stumbled across Amazon and also Amazon sellers that were looking to expand into Europe. Fortunately for us, the UK government had just changed the rules or the legislation where you could expand over into the UK without being VAT registered, and you just had to watch your sales up until there were 70,000, and then after that you register for VAT. So we came in at the right time, and the bread and butter for the business has always been accounting and personal and corporate tax. And then quickly, VAT, international tax or VAT, came about as an add-on service, which was natural anyway for us. Today, we are focused, I would say, predominantly on Amazon sellers or e-commerce, where we support them with their global expansion. So VAT registration, Euro VAT registration, OSS, bookkeeping, accounting, both in Europe and also in the US, and as well as the UK.
Okay, got it. So you're helping folks pretty much everywhere. And one of the things I think about when I think of value-added tax is it can be a little bit intimidating for folks. So it's nice having someone you can ask questions to. Now, just so everyone knows, behind the scenes, not only is AVAST a sponsor, but for longer than that, I've been a client of AVAST for my VAT services. And actually, I need to do a video about this coming up here soon because I don't remember the exact dollar amount, but it was the equivalent of about $7,000 US dollars that I got back from Amazon at the recommendation and the wordsmithing, so to speak, from Alex, one of your advisors. She pointed out the fact I shouldn't have been paying VAT on top of my PPC charges. So we got that back from Amazon. It took a couple months, but they gave me my money back. And so you guys have paid for yourselves many times over for things that I wouldn't have known to look for. And I'm, compared to most Americans, I'm pretty savvy when it comes to that, but I wouldn't have caught that. And there's a couple things she's caught. So it's not complicated, but it doesn't have to be too complex, especially if you have the right team, I should say.
Absolutely. And I can tell you now, my biggest claim so far was last year during COVID, which was about 230,000 from my client. And because we were very, very close with him, and he's been with us almost from day one, we had a bet. So I said to him, right, so what we're going to do, I can tell you now that you are owed more than 200,000. That has been going on.
And that's in pounds?
That is in pounds.
So that's about $300,000.
Yeah. And he said, there is no chance. There's no way I could have been charged money that I wasn't supposed to be charged. I said, yes, you were charged. But unfortunately, because you're a UK company, you were charged this money in the US. So let's do an audit on the account and then lodge a claim. It took a long time. It took about a good 6 months to get for him to get refunded. But we did get that. That was the biggest claim that I've actually ever made. And from the government's point of view, whereby sellers, when they ship over into Europe, and they don't have the correct documentation, or they're not provided by their shipping agents the C79s or C88s rather, so that they be able to claim their import VAT. Our biggest claim, which is a client actually, even today, it was 1.5 million. I can't claim that I did that claim myself. It was Alex that did it.
Oh, okay, got it. So she's good at finding the big ones there. So wow.
So she's done one of the biggest claims in the company. So it's good. It's rewarding for us to be able not just to provide the bread and butter calculation of VAT, but be in a position whereby we can audit their account. We can see some little nuances, stuff that's going on out there that possibly maybe the ordinary person cannot recognize as to what's going on. The good thing is that if we find a problem with one account, we ask ourselves that how many accounts are going through the same. So that's where the sort of like auditing comes in, and being inquisitive and agile to try and see if there's anything else that we can spot on the account that's sort of like a bit of an anomaly.
Oh, gotcha. Well, let's talk about this. So that's great. Then some people watching this like, well, I'm not even in there yet, so I don't have rebates coming to me. But maybe if you have been doing either on your own or using a more technologically based service, I should say, to do your VAT, if you are selling in the UK, it's worth talking to someone to see if maybe they can help you find money back, because it's always nice when you get money back. Even I mean, heck, I'd wait 6 months for $300,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will just have a little caveat that honestly, there is no discount in that. I think most people sort of like think that, oh, so are you saying that I could have a discount? No, you're not going to have a discount, but you're going to be able to recover whereby there's been mistakes that have been made that you are actually not aware of. It's easy for us to be in a position to sort of like uncover all those little mistakes, and to be honest, Kevin, that's where we get paid.
There you go.
When we do these big discoveries.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. So okay, so you guys have done very good with VAT. Now I want to kind of shift the conversation a little bit from a VAT conversation to really more. This is in conjunction with the PPC Mastery Summit, which AVAST is the sponsor of. But let's talk a little bit about kind of more mindset of a business owner. So if you don't mind sharing roughly, if this is okay, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, roughly how many clients do you have and how many people do you have working there?
So I would say we've got more than 7,000 clients. In the UK, it's just over 130 of us. Globally, it's about 620 odd of us. That is including New York as well. We've got 2 offices in China, one in Shenzhen and one in Hangzhou, where we've got even a larger team out there that is actually doing practicing bookkeeping and doing local accounting, as well as engaging clients and making sure that they are compliant when they are trading over into Europe.
So point being, you've developed quite the organization.
Well, I'm one of them.
I'm gonna let you toot your horn. So you're one of the owners, right?
Well, yes, I'm one of the partners. Yes.
One of the partners. Okay. So clearly you've done something right there along the way. So for folks listening and watching this, whether they're watching this live or on the replay, what are some frameworks you think about for growing? And let's give a little more context. That's going to be very specific to the people watching this. Let's say you just watched 8 expert sessions from a PPC summit. So you're trying to figure out, or whatever the topic is, different people are saying different things. They get you excited about this strategy and this strategy and this strategy. How do you think about things to digest, to move forward? What's going to move the ball forward in your business whenever maybe you go to a conference or something, whether virtual or in person, and you're trying to decide, okay, I've got all this information, all these ideas. I'm excited about all these things, but I can't do all of it all at once. What do you do to decide what to do with that? Or even going back to maybe the early days?
Yeah, I would say sometimes it's taking one journey and thinking like, or even maybe let's talk about selling. It's choosing one product and think that this is your $1 million product. This product is going to do extremely well, and it doesn't do well, and you go back to the drawing board. What do? Do you either give up or you try another product that is going to be doing well. Or you launch about 2-3 products at the same time. And sometimes that could easily happen, especially if you've got enough funding. From us, from a services point of view, we focused on international tax for individuals that were buying property in London when we first started out. So we're right in the property market whereby we're dealing with multimillionaires, billionaires that were buying, snapping properties in London. My biggest client portfolio was about 200 properties and from Dubai, which is great. But again, another opportunity comes in. It's being at the corner or at the in the open for every opportunity that comes in, and be in a position to be agile and take that opportunity when it comes in. And I don't want to say fake it till you make it, because you can't do that on products. You can't do that on service, because it's either you know what you're talking about or you don't know what you're talking about. And even down to your products, do you know the product? Whom is that product going to be reaching out to? And if you're talking about that, you're going to be taking your business over into Europe. That seems like it's one of the furthest things that other people sort of like think of. And I've got so much respect for people like you, Kevin. I'm not just saying this. I've got a lot of respect for people that have actually come out from their comfort zone in the US. And I think when you first stepped out from the US to trade in Europe, there were a lot of questions. How do I ship? Are the HS codes the same? Is there compliance that's going to be required? What about language localization? I don't speak German. I don't speak French. I don't speak Italian. What do I do? But what you did, you focused on one thing. You thought, well, if I go through the UK, and all of a sudden, the moment you register for the UK, you discover that you've got Germany platform that is around the corner. You've got Amazon telling you then that, hey, there is an EFN network, so you're going to launch on that. I'm going to be shipping your products throughout Europe. I don't think it actually ever phased you to think about problems with language. What did you do? You then ventured to find companies that do language localization that are going to be able to translate your product. And I can tell you now, 2013, 14, even marketplaces, I'm not going to say names, but marketplaces were actually recommending sellers to do Google Translate. Try and do that in Germany or France. It's going to be difficult, but I think it's because the likes of Amazon were actually new those days. So adaptation and people buying into those platforms, it was much more of a cooler thing. Today, you cannot do that. You can't use Google to do language localization. So it's thinking outside the box and thinking the fact that, what are the systems that are there that could make me to grow my business? And sometimes you learning as well as that, as an entrepreneur, you can't do everything yourself. You will need the resources. If you're going to be paying AVAST to be your accountants, honestly, that is, of course, it's an expense, but it is an investment at the same time, because you're looking at growing your business. Now, if you've engaged with us to do the VAT service, I would say monetize that. Ask us questions outside the VAT. Because you can imagine, we've seen thousands of people like you that is selling online. There's a lot of stuff that you can get from us. Some little nuggets. And we're not going to disclose our clients' accounts, of course, that this is the best product and all that. No, we're never going to do that. But we will guide you the right way. We will tell you which product works better in Italy, because we understand the Italian market. We understand the French market. We understand the German market. We've got people from those countries that work internally that know that they'll tell you straight that this is not going to be working. If you turn around and say, I'm going to be selling American flags to the British, we'll never use American flags in the UK.
Unless there's expats from the US living there or something.
Right, and there isn't a lot of them. We've
right.
We've got only one.
It's very niche.
Yeah, I mean, our first American that is in our in Southampton office. joined us about 4 months ago. So all these years, we've never had an American in the office, but we've had other local countries. So if you're talking about you're selling Italian flags in the UK, absolutely there might be an opportunity because we've got a huge population of Italians in the UK, or Polish, or Germans. So it's just learning more about the countries that you are looking to expand it, or the business that you are venturing on. And entrepreneurs are born to be a bit of outlaws from the way they think. They are sort of like not like that. They're not boxed up. There isn't any time to stop thinking. Even when you're on holiday, you've got your laptop with you. I would say, and unfortunately, these are things that you can't fake them because they come in natural. You know, be passionate as well with what you do.
Okay,
That's
so
one thing that I would
that's
say.
great advice. So if I can recap this, and I'm probably not going to do justice or be as eloquent as you just were there, but basically, be agile, look for opportunities. Don't think you have to figure this out all on your own. And maybe there's services to either get experts and get expert advice,
Yeah.
or find other people that kind of understand it. Now in a way you're describing with AVAST, because even though it's not necessarily the main thing you focus on is like what sells in Italy, but you guys see it. And so you ask people who kind of see things from a different viewpoint and see what their standpoint is. And don't be afraid to try things. And so
Yes.
if you keep hearing everybody talk about like, oh, this strategy is so expensive and especially when it comes to like paid ads,
Yeah.
PPC, I was mixing words there, then it's going to be find another alternative. And so like, for example, just to bring it back to the summit, so the folks watching this that were at the summit and watched a bunch of content, well, maybe you got excited about 4 or 5 different things, but maybe you have to prioritize which ones are going to get you the most impact for where you are. So if you're starting out and you're not brand registered, don't worry about anything that has to do with brand registry, like sponsored display or brand analytics. Focus on core things. And so, focus on where you are and where you need to go. Does that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would say another thing that I've seen that has been one of the most challenging one for sellers is that they come in and launch with Amazon because they know Amazon very well. Nobody wants to think outside Amazon. Nobody wants to think that, do you know what? In Poland, say for instance, there's a place called Allegro, and that marketplace is fantastic for the Polish people. They love it. Why? Because it is a Polish entrepreneur. It's been running in Poland for a very long time. Launching Allegro. In France, you've got Cdiscount. Now, what are you going to do? Because your products are available in France already, launch with Cdiscount. So, and again, the fact that you know Amazon better, it doesn't matter. It's putting your products out there and telling yourself that you will be launching in other marketplaces outside your main market. You'll be surprised. I've got a client that sells desks on Amazon. Now they launched with Cdiscount in France. They've got more sales going through Cdiscount than it goes through via Amazon in the whole of Europe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, easy like that. So it's thinking outside the box. Don't limit yourself as an entrepreneur, and that's exactly what we've done. We've taken the risk to acquire an entity out in New York, an accountancy firm, through COVID. We've never been there, but you know what? Technology has helped us because we know us, and we've rented a huge office and done full renovations, and we've trusted our partner to crack on and get the job done, and he has. I mean, it looks absolutely awesome. He's done a fantastic job.
So let's just recap that. You purchased an accounting firm in New York, but you're on the complete opposite side of the pond. So you never jumped on a plane to come over and look at it. You just looked at the numbers, made a decision based on some other factors, trusted your partners, and then you launched the location and moved offices. Did I understand that?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So if I can do that
Mm-hmm.
with the service and think about a product, it's it's easy. And most of the time when I talk about things, Kevin, I don't talk about stuff that I've never tried.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about property, oh, that's I'm going to be advising somebody on property. Yes, I've got a property portfolio. So I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
everything about property because I've tried and tested. If you're
Mm.
talking about global expansion, of course, I've got 2 offices in China. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got 2 offices in China. So again, you look at those things that it's be fearless and
Mm-hmm.
take that step because unfortunately sometimes solutions and they don't come to you and present themselves. Instead, you're gonna have to reach out to those solutions and reach out to them and those opportunities at the same time.
So would it be fair to say, even though tax is relatively a science in the sense of, debits, credits, and whatnot, but there's still an art to at least the way you've operated and being willing to try different things and see what sticks and what doesn't work? Would you be
Mhm.
fair to say you got to get out of your comfort zone, try different things, and it's if you're looking for the checklist of do these things and you'll be successful, then you're probably barking up the wrong tree.
To be honest, I would say I had a friend of mine told me it wasn't a joke, it was true. So his son decided that he wasn't going to attend a business class because the teacher or the lecturer that was teaching there had never run a business in their own life.
Hmm.
So came back home and said, "Mom, I'm not attending that business class because
Right.
my teacher never studied business, but he's never run a business." So I'm asking about practical stuff here, and no, he's not giving me any answers. He's referring me to the textbook. So
Oh,
it's same
geez.
apply. So it same applies with this. Unless you've actually tried and tested it, sometimes it's difficult to talk about it. For you, you've
Hmm.
expanded into Europe. You know
Mhm.
the European market, and you scare me on how much you know about European VAT or tax. You do. I think Alex has done a good job over the years with my
She
history.
has. She has. She's
And,
done a
and,
great
and,
job.
and to be honest, you've been curious about it. You
Mhm.
know, you've taken it upon yourself to understand how it works, so that when you're buying your products, you know how to apply the VAT. You know whether you're going to be making a profit or you're not going to be making a profit, and maybe this product shouldn't actually be launched in Europe at all. You
Mhm.
haven't just brought in everything
Mhm.
into Europe, but you've been decisive, you've been strategic
Mhm.
on how you do things, and that's what entrepreneurship is about. It's about you not having one strategy. The days are gone where we used to have a business plan. As accountants, we'll turn
Mhm.
around and say, "You want to start a business?" We'll ask, "Where's your business plan?" Unfortunately, entrepreneurs' business plan, especially for e-commerce seller, there's a new business plan every day.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you hit the nail on the head there at the beginning when you talked about the curiosity, be curious, and then basically test things and be willing to pivot, try different things, talk to people. So, you don't have to figure it out all on your own. Too much of this myth of the unicorn solopreneur that just does everything and figures
Mm,
everything out, which
mm,
a lot of times for folks, especially selling on Amazon in the beginning, it kind of is that way. And you
mm,
listen to these podcasts or watch YouTube videos or go to summits or whatever the
mm,
case is,
mm,
and you learn, but then over
mm.
time, you got to start actually talking to people and you got to
Yeah,
find people, which sometimes is hard. So, like
yeah.
I don't live in Brooklyn,
Hmm.
where there's like a big, contingency of
Community.
Amazon sellers. I live, an hour and a half from Miami. So there's a good community there, but
Mm,
it's not
mm,
necessarily easy for me to go
mm,
find them. So I have to get out of my comfort zone and
mm.
go out and find them. So, it's a lot of connecting and talking to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say COVID, what it's taught us is that you could connect with people anywhere in the world.
Hmm.
The technologies that we have in place, they connect us, and it's that association, it's belonging into a group. And you know what? If you want to scramble through YouTube, do that. The good thing about Americans, I would say, I'll give you credit. Kevin, is that you guys, you helped us a lot on YouTube.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yep.
You want
Americans like to
something?
be the trailblazers on those type of things.
Yeah, exactly. They go on YouTube. They share information. It's brilliant. I love it. But yes, YouTube is okay, but you need to associate yourself with a certain group of people that are going to be giving you real facts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could talk about VAT. I could be talking it in my way that I think it's what how we do things here at Avast, but somebody else could be talking about something totally different. But it's that association and making sure that you're associating yourself with the right individuals that are going to give you the right strategies. If you're talking about PPCs, I know that people have got a lot of way on how they deploy that. There's loads of PPC management softwares as well that
Mm-hmm.
can help you with that. But at the same time, associate yourselves with certain individuals. You know, this journey of entrepreneurship, it is a lonely journey. Because even if you've got a large family, what you're going through in your business, they might not understand it
Mm.
unless you are part of a certain group that
Mm-hmm.
you can learn from. And you know, sometimes talking to you like this, it can give you just a lot of ideas that, oh my God, Kevin said something, you know, that I could listen for you for 12 hours, but just 5 minutes of that, it's where I got my information, my
Mm-hmm.
why. Why should I go and expand into Europe? Why should I sell a
Mm.
different product? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? So I would say that it's just be passionately curious about what you're doing and your product.
Yeah, and like you said, know your why. Why are you doing this? Connect with other people, because one of the things that, like, for example, at Avask, everyone at the office is surrounded by people in the accounting world. There's very few places where you go in and you're surrounded by e-commerce, Amazon people all day long. So you got to go out and seek them out and find ways to do that. And like you said, be curious, be willing to try, be agile. So this is all great stuff here. So, um, any other kind of closing advice here to give folks for who want to scale up, regardless of whether it's PPC related or whatnot?
I would say you guys are lucky now because there's some fantastic groups out there. We've got people like you who are part of the community, Kevin, who have given out their time to run these events. Because even if we can sponsor, we don't sponsor enough with the time that you spend organizing such events. I would turn around and say, anybody that is listening to this, just be a sponge and
Mm,
consume as much information as possible out there. I mean, you're preparing maybe for the Christmas holidays that are going to be coming up soon.
hmm
Yes, prepare for those Christmas holidays, but it doesn't end there. It mustn't stop the fact that you've got all the Black Fridays, you've got Christmas coming in, you've got
hmm
lightning deals, and also Cyber Mondays that's coming up. It doesn't end there. Think about your Q1 strategy as far as like
mm,
where do you want your place your business in Q1? Where do you want to be? And start making moves now. But because before you know it, it's end of Q1, it's start of
hmm
Q2, and you're going to be just be postponing whatever strategy that you wanted to deploy.
hmm
Um, and if you can source your products locally, please do. And to start thinking of diversification. You know, we know exactly what's happening out there in Asia. Look at other countries as well to source your products.
hmm
Because again, you're gonna hear a lot of horror stories in about China, about shipping costs and all stuff that's going on. You know,
hmm
think really strategically about your Q1 strategy, but you need to do that now
mm.
before the end of the financial year so that when you get into Q1, you're getting on execution or you are launching whatever that's you want to do.
Absolutely. So that is great advice. That is great advice. So if folks want to follow you or learn more about Avast, where will they go?
Yeah, so they can reach me on melanie at avastgroup.com.
Okay.
I am on Facebook as well, Melanie Shabangu.Katsaris, or I am on my private Instagram as well.
Mm,
I would say usually emailing is actually much better. And again, I know that people actually want to reach out for you because they think that you're gonna be charging them. Just follow us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn as well. But again, if you want to just have a chat about how things would work, I'll give you my time. The community has been amazing towards our growth. So I would say giving back is one of the most valuable things that we can at least do for people that are looking to expand into other marketplaces.
So just think about that for a second, folks. Someone who has built a large organization is willing to speak with you, not just, oh, talk to my sales team, whatever. It's Melanie saying, I'm willing to talk to you. And she is the partner of AVAST. And so definitely just keep that in mind. When we said connect with other people, this is a chance to connect with other people. Now I'm going to be announcing later on that I will be having opportunities to help other people forge connections, which we'll talk about later. But I want to just point this out. Like, yeah, I'll have the program coming up here soon that I'll talk about, but you can have the opportunity to talk to somebody like a Melanie. And so even though Melanie's not in the exact same business vertical industry that you're in, she understands it probably more than you realize because she's seen a lot of what happens. And also she's built quite the organization. So just having that mindset of someone that's saying, yeah, I'm willing to talk to you. And I'm amazed you and Angelos both are like extremely accessible for as large of an organization as you have. So kudos to both of you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And also during COVID, what we did, I don't know whether I told you, is that we wrote a book called The Online Hustle. And
yes.
That book was literally written on just consolidating the information that we've been speaking about to clients for over a period of 7 years. And we put the information in one book and we just said it's available on Amazon, The Online Hustle. So you can grab it and again, it's easy to read, actionable steps that you can take in order for you to expand your business, not just expanding only into the UK or Europe, but just expanding your business into new marketplaces. You've got Mexico next door, you've got Canada as well. So I would say that it doesn't stop there. And the Canadian market is really growing.
Oh yeah, Canada is a good market. Canada is a very good market, and it's very simple.
Yeah, I remember reporting taxes for a UK client for many years, and you know what? They were patient. It was about the sales were about $300 per month, and it went on and on and on. And I thought, this got to stop. But you know what? Now they are in the thousands. And again, that was patience. You don't try it for only 6 months and think, oh, this doesn't work. Sometimes you've got to sit tight.
Yep. That's a good point. It's all about thinking long term. Like I know there's been a lot of chatter about PPC in some of the Facebook groups about how like costs are going up. Well, right now, I can tell you from my own history, costs go up in October, November all the time because you got more window shoppers. I'm not sure what to get so-and-so. So they just start going online and clicking stuff. And some of that might be your sponsored ads and they're not going to buy, but maybe they're going to buy it later. Maybe they're like my wife and they put it in a, what does Amazon call it? Wish list or something like that, or they add it to cart or save for later. So you might have sales later on. It's not going to be attributed because Amazon doesn't take attribution back 60 days or whatever it might be. But, just know, like, understand the cycles. There are fairly common cycles, and the invisible hand tends to bring things back to the equilibrium at some point. So just be nimble and agile, be curious, and go find other people and talk to avastgroup.com. So that's our closing advice here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you.